2026, what's out, what's in, nutrition-wise. It's the start of a new year and a time for fresh, new, healthy eating habits. So today, we're gonna be talking about all the habits you need to leave in 2025, all the outs, and all the habits you need to start adopting in 2026. So the first thing we are getting rid of in 2026 is this obsession with micro-optimizing everything. So at first we were just tracking meals. Then we started tracking calories and macros. And we got to a point where we were literally tracking glucose spikes. I mean, we don't need to be doing that. Of course, this is outside of clinical indications. Like if you have diabetes, for instance, or you have specific endocrine related disorders, or just like very specific things that you need to track that your doctor has told you to track. Okay, of course. But I'm talking about the fact that this is so mainstream now that even people who are very healthy, eat healthily, and just would have no benefit from tracking things like their glucose spikes or spending time and energy doing that. And studies show that this is not actually beneficial. All the energy that you are putting into trying to micromanage everything. So I'm talking about glucose spikes, but it can also be about excessively micromanaging, like micronutrients, for instance. I mean, if you're eating healthy, balanced meals, you don't need to be worried about the amount of micronutrients that you're getting, about the amount of like potassium that you're getting. I think that people have become way too focused on these details, and that is just focusing all of their attention on that. And so they have then much less energy to just put in eating healthy, balanced meals with ingredients that are quality ingredients and ingredients that are going to make them feel good and that are going to satisfy them. But the overwhelming scientific evidence points to the fact that your overall eating patterns, eating behaviors are what is going to have the biggest impact, not trying to micromanage every single aspect of your nutrition. And our first in for 2026 is a foundation first approach. So what do I mean by that? Instead of chasing optimization, like we just talked about, instead of always wanting to make things perfect, instead of picking an area and then hyper focusing on that, like in the past few years, it's been gut health, it's been glucose sensitivity, and it's been protein intake. Like it's better to build your base principles, which are basically what the scientific consensus says, and to focus on really getting those basics down and building your entire way of eating around that. And so first you focus on these main pillars of your diet. You put most of your energy there. And once that is mastered, you can start tweaking, doing other things. So these principles. First, you need to make sure that you are eating enough, that your energy intake is sufficient. If you don't do that, none of this can work. So you need to be having regular meals that give you enough calories. Now, in these meals, you need to focus on having about 80% whole foods, and then you can have 20% processed foods. Within those whole foods, you need to make sure that you are having enough fiber, enough protein, enough healthy fats. You also need to include variety in your diet. You need to be eating different sources of carbs, different sources of protein, like different fruit, different veggies, in order to get as many nutrients as possible. And then you also need to live a healthy lifestyle outside of food, of course. And the thing about these principles is that they're not fun, they're not trendy, they are not anything wow, but they work. This is what your energy needs to be focused into. And a great place to start to get these principles down is my video on healthy eating for beginners. Check out my latest one right here or in the description.
Another important out is the reign of protein. In the past few years, protein has been viewed as the solution to literally everything. You want to lose weight? Eat more protein. You want to lose fat? Eat more protein. You want to improve insulin sensitivity? More protein. Gain muscle? more protein. I mean, don't get me wrong, protein is a great macronutrient and can definitely help with all of these things. However, the other macros are great and useful and necessary as well. And you should be using as much energy, all the energy you're putting into protein, put that same energy into finding quality whole carbs and quality unsaturated fats. Again, I'm not saying that you need to throw protein out the window completely. Of course not. You need to be eating at least 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. That's just the minimum, but you should not be obsessing over protein because again, energy is finite, and if you're spending all of your energy focusing on protein, you are not focusing on the other things that have an important impact too. If you really want to be focusing on one nutrient, let it be fiber, because most Americans are getting enough protein. What they're not getting enough of, fiber. I made a whole video on the protein obsession. If you want to learn more about the subject, you can check it out right here or in the description.
Another in for 2026 is regularity over perfection. A big issue with healthy eating is that people will try to eat in a way that is perfect. They're gonna try to make sure that the balance is perfect, that the ingredients are perfect, they have to be organic, they have to be whole, non-processed, non-inflammatory, it has to look pretty, it has to taste good, it has to be satisfying, and it also can't spike your glucose. It's exhausting. But what happens if you're constantly waiting for that perfect meal, trying to make that perfect meal, or only being satisfied when you do eat a meal that is perfect in your eyes, then all the time that you're spending doing that is time that your hunger is increasing and your anxiety around food is increasing. And the main risk, I guess, is that you're not going to be able to eat in a perfect way every time. So what happens when you don't? You feel discouraged, you feel like you're failing, you start feeling guilty. And so then you stop being satisfied with what you eat. And then there's mechanisms of compensation where you may binge eat or at least overeat on things that you have deemed as unhealthy. The thing that you should be focusing on instead of creating that perfect meal is regularity. If you're regularly eating meals that are mostly balanced, mostly healthy, mostly satisfying, and you're doing that 3 times a day, every single day, that's gonna make it easier for your body to anticipate hunger and fullness and to then adjust to them. And it's also going to improve certain biological markers like insulin sensitivity, for instance. So remember, a consistent, good enough meal is better than a perfect meal only once in a while. Another out in 2026, I hope this is the end of this. Moralized food language. We need to stop referring to foods as clean or dirty or good or bad or toxic or any of these words. That's not good. If you use these languages to describe food, then it's literally impossible to have a healthy relationship with food. It's impossible to be able to eat guilt-free, and you're just promoting restrictive eating behaviors, and it's not something that can be long-lasting. There is research consistently that shows that if you are linking moral value, moral language to food, then you are more likely to have binge restrict episodes. You are more likely to lose your sense of hunger and fullness cues. You are more likely to restrain your appetite and to restrain yourself from eating. The problem when you moralize food like that is that you shift the food making decisions that should be within, and that should be based on your intuition and what your body needs, to arbitrary rule following that is really far removed from your intuition.
The most important in for last. 2026 is the year of building a healthy relationship with food. It's an important shift in your nutrition habits and in your health journey when you realize that it's not just about what you are doing physically for your body, so eating well and balanced and all of that. It's also about the mental aspect of it and the relationship with food that you create. If you're eating perfect healthy meals but you have no pleasure in that and you feel guilty every time you eat a cookie, then that is not a healthy relationship with food, and your healthy diet is not going to be sustainable. So without a healthy mindset when it comes to food, you will not be able to go very far. Or you will if you have a ton of willpower, but it won't be very fun. We don't want that. We can do both. A healthy relationship with food means that you are listening to your body, to your internal cues, instead of returning to outside rules and regulations in order to eat. It means that you are able to eat a wide variety of food without feeling like some are good or bad, and that you're not applying any type of moral judgment to the food that you're eating. It means that you're able to eat in a way that is enjoyable, and when you do so, you don't feel guilt, and also in a way that is healthy, and when you do so, you don't feel restriction. If you're fueling your body with healthy foods, but then your mental health is terrible because you're feeling debilitating guilt and shame every time you kind of move away from that diet, and you just develop this huge anxiety around food, and maybe you stop going out and eating with friends because you want to have that control. Obviously, that is not healthy. And it's still important to mention that a healthy relationship with food doesn't mean that you are overriding any of the nutrition facts that you know and the foods that are going to bring you certain nutrients compared to other foods. It doesn't mean that. It means that you use that knowledge to support your body's decisions, but you're also trusting your body. So it's this whole balance that is super important to learn. And if you're interested in doing that, then I highly recommend you check out the video I made on how to create a healthy relationship with food in 2025. I mean, it still works in 2026. You can check it out here or in the description. So I hope these ins and outs were helpful. Let me know in the comments what your ins and outs of 2026 are nutrition wise. And if you enjoy this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe, and see you on my next one. Bye.